there's been some discussion online about how at the store there doesn't seem to be a shortage of Valentine's Day goods. We had problems during the Christmas season. We had problems with Thanksgiving turkey. We had problems with Halloween candy. And how come that's not applied to Valentine's Day? I think it really goes to show we live in a very relationship-centric environment, right? Everything revolves. Just try to book an Airbnb. By default, they're going to select a place for 2 guests, right? I always have to change that to 1 guest so that more rooms will open up, right? There are rooms that are only available if it's only 1 guest, right? So I always have to change that. I look up a city I want to travel, especially in the Rockies, right? Missoula or Helena. Right? Oh, there's not that much available. Oh, they chose rooms for 2. I got to change that to 1. All of a sudden, all these other rooms open up. And I feel badly for people who are trying to rent for 1. If the person using Airbnb doesn't realize they have to switch it, they might miss out on that, right? And the same goes with why stuff is available for Valentine's Day that wasn't available during the other holidays, right? Because by definition, Halloween, people who celebrate Halloween are probably more disproportionately single, right? If you have a significant other, who wants to waste the whole evening gathering candy instead of spending time with their significant other, right? With Thanksgiving, with Christmas, a lot of that is family oriented, right? A lot of singles probably go home to their family. I don't, because I don't treat myself as single. I treat myself as a family of 1. I'll get to that in a second. I recently contacted one of the dating websites that I use because I was upset that even though they have LGBTQ as the choices for the sexual orientation, they didn't have solosexual. And I got a response, and the response basically read, well, why are you using us if you're solosexual? Because I want to meet other solosexuals who are like-minded, who maybe want to get together and play some card games or even program some computer AI for card games or do other things, right? Maybe go take a walk on the Kirkland Connector Trail. But I want to live separate sexual lives, right? And a lot of people don't seem to understand that dating doesn't equal sex or living together or children or marriage. A lot of people don't seem to realize that. What I sometimes like to call it is going on a double solosexual date, right? I love going on those. I don't think I've been on many of them, right? It's really hard to understand what that is until you've been in one, right? A double solosexual relationship of some sort. Every year on my anniversary, June 13th of 2010 is when I first discovered I was solosexual. I make it a tradition to make noise about it. Another website that I've had a frustration with is Facebook. So I have 2 Facebook profiles, and I'm in a relationship, one with the other. But I wish I didn't. I could announce my solosexuality without having to have 2 accounts, right? So I contact Facebook every year on June 13, on Valentine's Day, on any day where the idea of solosexuality comes up, right? Or sometimes even more often. The holidays are another popular time I like to do that. Or anytime I actually get into a relationship and have to temporarily break that off, I'll contact Facebook again. And Facebook always tells me that they're going to come back to this. Now, they've been saying that for almost 10 years now. I started doing this many years ago. A while ago, I also tried to apply to get a marriage license between me and myself with Washington State, and they didn't even respond to it. They just sent me back the check that I had sent them, and I wrote an essay on how I feel about myself, and they just said that it's not a valid application. They didn't even go why or rebut it or anything like that. Anyways, just goes to show I wish am I jealous of people who have a sexual relationship with other people? No, I'm not. What I'm saying is that life shouldn't revolve around that. There are plenty of important things in life outside of a sexual relationship, period. It's just like with food, right? A lot of my peers have a hard time believing that I go on these fasts. And one time I was talking to, I do tutoring, and I had to refuse some food from one of my students because I was in the middle of a fast. I can't remember what event that was, but there was one day where I wanted to do an extended fast of 30 some hours. And my student had a hard time believing it. He's 13, 14 years old. And when his parents came to pick him up at the tutoring center, he was telling his dad, this guy says he goes 40 some hours without eating. Do you believe him? And which is fine. I don't need everybody to believe me. I fast for my own benefit. But it just goes to show that a lot of Americans have a hard time thinking of life outside of food, right? Outside of sex, outside of whatever they're accustomed to, right? That's why a lot of times I have a hard time getting vacation time at work. People can't envision that going to a Computer Olympia conference or going to a backgammon tournament is a vacation, right? And it's kind of sad.